Here's what Chauncey Billups is being charged with. After being arrested earlier today, federal agents say he was part of a massive high-stakes poker ring tied to New York mafia families. Prosecutors claim the games were rigged using hidden tech to cheat players out of thousands. Billups is now facing wire fraud and money laundering conspiracy charges, each carrying up to 20 years in prison, and the NBA has already suspended him indefinitely while the case unfolds.
1212 Rebel Tech TV here. You already know what it is. I don't like wasting too much time, so I'm gonna react to a.m.hoops video talking about this scandalous scandal that's going on in the NBA with Chauncey Billups in them. Let's go.
The NBA may have cleared Terry Rozier, but not the FBI. This dude will never play in the league again.
Never.
Rozier is done for life, just like Jonte.
Life. Pardon me, my bad, let's go.
Porter. Chauncey Billups too. Wait until you hear what he did that I have not heard talked about involving Damian Lillard. But these are two separate cases just announced that both involve NBA players and coaches. The first one we already knew about, but got new details on, including illegal betting with the Los Angeles Lakers. The other case is new. It's a poker game that Chauncey Billups played in. So who cares? It's poker. Actually, it was a bit more than that. These were rigged games connected to the mafia. So when someone didn't pay, they would threaten violence. Even held a guy at gunpoint who refused to give him.
These dudes was watching Marvel movies or some shit. Now, I mean, these niggas is on, son.
What they wanted.
It was why the casino took it to the next level.
But is Chauncey really guilty? Well, can you believe 2 years ago, a pro poker
2 years
player
ago,
called
a
Chauncey
friend of mine asked me to say so. Oh, my bad. I'm rounding out here. My bad. Let me bring it back.
Give them what they wanted. But is Chauncey really guilty? Well, can you believe 2 years ago, a pro poker player called Chauncey out on his podcast, said he knew the game was rigged but couldn't prove it.
There was this game. It started in LA and then it came to Vegas for a few days, and it was all built around Chauncey Billups. It obviously was for sure confirmed to be cheated, but there's just no recourse. Well, it's tough too whenever you're dealing with somebody high profile like that, because it's like this guy beat charges. You think he cares about you calling him a cheater?
Yeah. Wow.
Oh,
and that was two years ago.
They blurred out. They blurred out right there. Pause that. They blurred out. He beat out rape charges, which I ain't even know about. Nah, I mean, bro, this sexual harassment when he was in Boston or something like that. Nah, I mean, I didn't even know about that shit. But that's crazy.
Is cooked. But at the same time, I have to acknowledge.
Guy beat charges. You think he cares about you calling him a cheater?
Yeah. Wow. And that was 2 years ago. Chauncey is cooked. But at the same time, I have to acknowledge these two cases aren't directly connected. So why announce them together? And why now? Some people are accusing the FBI of being biased against the NBA, trying to send them a message about how they speak and
the FBI versus the NBA?
Not going to the White House after you win a championship, huh? Well, the FBI director was asked about that to his face. But let's start with the sports betting, because that's the really big one that affects the league. Info was used to place bets on the Hornets, Magic, Blazers, Lakers, and Raptors. Of course, we already knew about the Raptors. That was Jonte Porter. Sportsbooks noticed weird betting patterns on Porter's underprops, huge red flag, so they reported it to authorities, who then made arrests. Now, Porter said that he told associates that he was going to leave a game early so that the bet would cash. Well, now the FBI says Rozier did the exact.
How the world always gets back when these NBA players tell somebody, the world always get back. Now, I mean, y'all need to stop talking so much or something like that, man.
Exact same thing. March 23rd, 2023, game while he was on the Hornets. Rozier told people who'd leave early about $200,000 worth of bets.
Rozier.
But what about those other teams? The Blazers, the Magic, the Lakers? Well, the FBI says that Rozier and Damon Jones, an ex-assistant coach, would use inside info. The exact wording was, they misused information obtained from long-standing relationships with coaches and players to pass along betting information.
Now, this is the thing. Why they misused the information. If they got information and they used it to win a bet, don't sound like it's misused to me. Might be illegal, but it sound like they used that information to benefit them.
So Damon Jones was a teammate with LeBron in Cleveland. Then he coached him in 2016. He was his personal shooting coach, okay? This man finds out that LeBron is going to sit against the Bucks last year. Sure enough, no Bron, and that bet hits. Then he gets info on Anthony Davis, And what happens next is actually kind of funny. So the indictment says that he learned from AD's trainer that AD was going to be out February 9th against the Thunder. So he then texts a guy named Eric Ernest, who pays Jones a $2,500 fee for the information. Ernest then gives that info to another guy who places a $100,000 bet against the Lakers.
Okay, I guess that answers my question about how this information began out there to these other people from the players.
Then AD not only plays, but he plays his regular minutes and plays great. Lakers win, and the bet loses. Ernest then texts Damon Jones like, what the heck? I want my money back. But Jones or Rozier would have info on who wouldn't play on the Blazers, March 24, 2023, and they knew that every Magic starter was going to sit April 6th. The FBI says information on who wouldn't play came from a Magic player with a relationship to a defendant and was bet on. But Chauncey also gave info to that same gambling connect on his own team, the Blazers. Check this from the FBI. On March 24, 2023, Blazers played the Bulls. Prior to the game, their record was 32-40, out of playoff contention. Co-conspirator 8, that is Chauncey, told the defendant Eric Ernest that the Trailblazers were going to be tanking. So billups told Ernest before the news was publicly announced, several of the Blazers' best players, including player 1, would not be playing in that game. I looked at Damian Lillard. That was the first game that he sat when they tanked. The information they'd be tanking and not playing Damian Lillard was not available to the public. So he gave inside info on his own team. That is banned for life type stuff.
For life?
He's also charged in this mafia poker game thing. The way that worked was ex-athletes were used to draw in these fish. We're basically like rich old...
I didn't know. I just learned a couple of days ago that the mafia is Italian and the mob is Jewish. So when you see talking about the mafia and the mob, they're actually talking about two different races of people. I didn't even know that.
Guys with a ton of money who want to play against ex-athletes, right? So the FBI says that Chauncey would lure these fish in, but the mafia already had the whole game rigged.
Fish.
They already knew what cards everyone had at the table. The way they did it was they used a rigged shuffler, an X-ray table, so if you had the cards down, it knew what cards it was, and a camera inside the chip holder. Then they would relay that info to people at the table and tell them exactly how to play.
That's crazy.
They stole about $7 million in total from these fish guys. So this is a big announcement with a lot of guys from the NBA. So why are people saying it's political? Well, let's start with the fact that the NBA as a whole is not the most friendly to this administration, right? In 2017, the Warriors were the first team to refuse a White House visit after winning their championship with Trump in office. And speaking of Trump, Steve Kerr and Popovich frequently go off on him. Pop once called him a soulless coward and a, quote, pathetic individual, a small man who has to make everybody around him smaller, so he thinks he's going to be big. Well, that's not very nice.
Well, it's not. But listen here, man. I'm a Spurs fan. You know what I mean? So if Pop ain't riding with you, I ain't riding with you. I'm riding with Pop. You know what I mean? Greg Popovich, what's up? We out here. Spurs Nation.
But during the pandemic, the NBA, by far the most outspoken league, which led Trump to call them basically a political organization. So the theory is he is now going after them for speaking out all these years against him.
I ain't gonna front, man. Some of the politics that the NBA beginning, to tell the truth, maybe all of it, is annoying. You know what I mean? So some of the politics, and Popovich was just giving his opinion right there. I don't even know how somebody asked him that shit, but most of the things they get into is annoying. We don't come to the NBA or ESPN to hear about y'all politics. We don't care how y'all feel about the politics. Let's go.
But where is the evidence of that? Well, these are two completely separate cases. The mafia was behind the poker game, not the prop betting thing. That was just a group of shady gamblers. The connection was Billups and Damon Jones. They seem like two shady friends doing shady things. But the FBI makes it sound like it's this big NBA conspiracy.
Today, we are here in New York to announce a historic arrest across a wide-sweeping criminal enterprise that envelops both the NBA and La Cosa Nostra.
Okay, La Cosa Nostra is the mafia. He's putting their
La Cosa Nostra coming through like we supposed to flexing.
The NBA and La Cosa.
Let's bring that back.
Criminal enterprise that envelops both the NBA and La Cosa Nostra.
Okay, La Cosa Nostra is the mafia. He's putting their names together. The NBA and La Cosa Nostra, like they're in on it together. These are two completely separate cases. But when asked again, he said this.
This is the insider trading saga for the NBA.
What is the sports betting or the poker games? Why would you not make that distinction unless you're trying to make the NBA look bad? So yes, the FBI wants to make sure the entire NBA looks bad here, no question. What other reason is there to do this now? Rozier investigation been going on 2 years. It wraps up now when the season starts. But at the same time, these guys look guilty as hell. We could see a coaching Hall of Famer plus another player get banned for life. Now, I know a lot of people say legal gambling is to blame, but shady stuff has been going on for years. We only know about this from legal gambling. Sportsbooks caught Jonte Porter unders, reported to the FBI. That never happened before legalization, all underground. So this whole thing is deeper and more messed up than we thought. We'll just see if other names come out once these guys start talking to the FBI. But how about some good news? The NBA season did just start and the Rockets looked great despite
Yep, forget about that good news. Damn, shit is real in the field. But you know, it's crazy, you know what I mean? I don't even know if I really have too much to comment. I ain't even said already. You got Chauncey Billups running with the mafia, you know what I mean? But I seen something. Somebody had a good question. You know what I mean? I want to know how y'all feel about this. How y'all feel about all this Chauncey Billups stuff? And how y'all feel about this question right here somebody posted? One.
If the FBI uncovered a mafia-backed illegal gambling ring, why they showing us pictures of Chauncey Billups and Scary Terry? Literally, where are the mafia people? You want me to believe that Chauncey Billups masterminded an x-ray table and marked cards and contact lenses and all of that? Where are the real people who was responsible for this? You say it was some other people who set that up, and you showing me pictures of Chauncey Billups. Listen, I was born in the morning, not this morning. Chauncey Billups did not mastermind this. Now, take part in it, I'm not sure, allegedly. But where are the people who organized it and set it up? I haven't seen one picture of nobody. All I've seen is Scary Terry and Chauncey Billups over and over and over again on my timeline. Put the real people up since you figured it out. Also, SNAP benefits are about to expire. Why are we using government funds on some NBA probe? Who cares? If they doing stuff that's illegal, it's up to the NBA to figure that out and be responsible and be liable.